Hello and welcome to another Bollocks Radio. So it's Bollocks Radio. It's not total bollocks. It's worth listening. If you're a fan of the podcast that I do, Talking Bollocks, you can go over and check out that podcast. My name's Howard H. Smith. I sing in the lead singer in UK thrash band Acid Rain. Going to put our first album out for 29 years this year, so I'm hoping it's going to be this year, god damn it. Also do stand-up comedy as Keith Black, professional Yorkshireman, and all that usual stuff. Anyway, hello. You probably knew all that if you're listening to this, but if you didn't, go and check out all the other stuff as well. It'll be cool. Also, I've got to say it, patreon.com/Howard H. Smith. $5 a month gets you loads of exclusive footage and stuff that people aren't going to get anywhere. The Patreon, I was going to say clients, the patrons that I have are all saying that it's really cool and it's really good value. So get stuck in. Anyway, welcome to another journey through all sorts of music through my record collection. Now, what you might notice is my voice will sound slightly different now than in the rest of the show, and that's because I did the show, put it up for my Patreon subscribers who get everything before everyone else. Then I went away with the band for 4 days to Gran Canaria. We were doing a show out there, and during that time, I got a message say, "Oh, hang on, what's going on here?" And I completely screwed up the intro, and I'd left a piece of music in the wrong place. So anyway, it was completely, wait for it, technical term, fucked. So I'm recording this intro again. And the intro to the first song, and then the rest of the show is as it was. Turns out I didn't make as big a mess as I thought I had, so fingers crossed, and thank you, Jacob, for pointing it out. So what this radio show is all about is music, and it's playing tunes and going off on a wide-ranging, varied trip through the land of my record collection, and God, I sound old. Music I like that I and I've got no idea what I'm going to play before the show. I just kind of pick up a groove and go with it, and then I'll think of something else, or I see something in my collection and go, "Oh yeah, play that." So it's it can go all over the place, and believe you me, it does in this episode. But what I am doing is starting with a rare version of a well-known song, but a very rare version. One of my all-time heroes and inspirations back in the day was Ronnie Dio, and he is sounding as good as ever on this tune. This is Neon Nights, live from Hammersmith Odeon. I don't know where. It's not available as a live album. I think it came free with another album. Maybe somebody will be able to correct me on this. Because, there's all the sorts of the social media around, Talking Bollocks on Twitter, Facebook, all the rest of it. So if you do know where to get it, get hold of it, because it's fucking awesome. And if you can't find it and you want it, let me know and I'll see if I can share a copy with you. But anyway, as previously mentioned, this is on the Mob Rules tour. This is live from Hammersmith Odeon, and this is Black Sabbath with Ronnie Dio and Neon Nights.
Things never last. Nothing's in the past. It all
the man, the myth, the legend, the front man, the voice, Ronnie James Dio, never to be replicated, never to be underestimated, and never to be seen in hologram form, please. I was lucky enough to see the great man. I think it was on the Sacred Heart tour. I'd like to have gone to previous tours, but I was too young. But I managed to get along to the Sacred Heart tour. Got to see him stick a sword in a dragon's mouth, and it was awesome. What a legend! I mean, I think the first song I ever played at an Acid Rain rehearsal, and we weren't called Acid Rain, and none of the other members were in the band yet. That ended up being an Acid Rain. The very first song that happened in the band that became Acid Rain, which is the band I sing in case you didn't know that, was a song called Hungry for Heaven off Sacred Heart, the Dio album. So there you go. Awesome track. Awesome live track, very rare to get hold of that album, and so yeah, if you're looking for it, give me a shout and see if I can point you in the right direction. Anyway, now for something completely different, as one famous comedic troupe once said. Metallica years back, I think it was on Load, had this lot on as a support band, and I'm just going to pause this just to see what year it was. Okay, so you don't get this on the on the normal podcast. You don't fact checking. That doesn't normally happen. Okay, so it probably wasn't. Oh no, it might have been Load, 1997. The Reload era. This band were a support band for Metallica called Days of the New. DAYS of the New. Now, they are completely acoustic. Which was that's pretty much where Metallica were at that point, wasn't it? With their support bands, it's like not just content with annoying us with their own music, they thought they'd annoy us with support bands as well. But these guys turned out to be awesome. I never got to see them live. The first album is without doubt my favourite, for reasons that I will go into. But basically, I'm not going to tell you too much about the band, because I want to tell you a little bit afterwards once you've heard them. I'm just trying to see if I can get a lineup here. Here we are. Travis Meeks, vocals, guitars. Tom Whitner, guitars. Jesse Vest, bass, and Matt Tall, drums. So they released the first album, Days of the New, which is simply called Days of the New. The second album, which I'm holding in my hand at the moment, it's just called Days of the New again. I think it might be Days of the New 2 or something. There's nothing on the spine that gives us any clues whatsoever. But anyway, look, without further ado, I'm going to play you a track. Now, yeah, so I've gone acoustic, but this is heavy acoustic, man. This really is. This is from Days of the New debut album called Days of the New, and this song is Freak.
Time, wait for me. Patience is reality. I don't know how it feels. I can see with your foot in my face, your foot in my face, your foot in my face, your foot in my face. Now I don't know how it feels, I can't decide. I I'm afraid. Trust my life, you will die. I can't succeed. Oh, now I can fail. I don't know how it feels. I can't decide. No, no, I can't see. Well, it's your nose in my business. Your ass in my space. Your life is my problem. Your foot in my face. I won't, I can't, I'm lost, I'm afraid. 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 Searching for things I can't see, mountains in front of me. No, nothing will conquer my distance. Fear will not discover my brain. Wow, I can't, I'm lost, I'm afraid. Wow, I can't, I'm lost, I'm afraid. I won't, I can't, I'm lost, I'm a freak. I'm a freak, I'm a freak, I'm a freak, I'm afraid. I'm a freak, I'm a freak, no, 'cause I'm a freak, yeah. I'm a freak, no, 'cause I'm a freak, yeah. I'm a freak, I'm a freak.
Fucking unbelievable songwriting, guitar and vocal skills of Travis Meek's Days of the New first album, which apparently is colloquially referred to as the Yellow Album. And what I have to tell you now may blow some of your minds. That recording you just heard, Travis is 17 years old. 17 years old. Signed to Capitol Records, putting that out and touring, supporting Metallica and Jerry Cantrell apparently around that era. And then he did what any 17-year-old would do, blessed with all of that. Kicked all of the members out and recorded the second album virtually as a solo artist. The second album is the Green Album. It's not straight ahead as the first album, but it is still very cool. There is a third album that I've never ventured down. He tried to reform Days of the New back in 2014, and apparently that was brought to an end by drug addiction, which is a real shame. So that's not great. But the album, that first album, Days of the New, is an absolute killer. Might even have another song off that before the end, because there is some of the heaviest acoustic stuff you'll ever hear on that mid section. That I mean, it's just the riffs are there, man. Absolutely brilliant. Big fan, big fan of Days of the New back then and ever since. Just a band I thought who've never really got the props they deserve. And yeah, I mean, had you heard of them? Had you ever heard of Days of the New before I stuck it on then? That's why I'm doing this. to expose you to the kind of stuff that I like that you might have never heard before. It's an opportunity that I have that I relish. I love telling people about new music, sharing new music, and in this case, quite a lot of old music. I mean, you know, you can't get a lot more. Well, you can get older, but I'm going to play you some All. Now, the thing is, All is the band that was the Descendants. Milo, the singer, left. They carried on, various different singers, and I always loved All, but some people didn't. I don't know why, but it didn't always just didn't always really hit the straps for a lot of people. But I love them. Not as much as the Descendants, but I still love them. They're a different band. So anyway, without further ado, I do like All. This is from the album Breaking Things, and let's have a bit of politics, shall we?
Your politics out of my life. Your politics out of my face. Your politics out of my way. Maybe I wanna trick myself to death. Maybe I voted from the middle above. Who the fuck are you to tell me what to believe in? Your politics out of my life. Your politics out of my way. Your politics out of my music. Nobody can control me. I'm gonna do what I wanna do. Hey, Mr. President, you can suck my cock. Ain't no motherfucker gonna tell me what to do.
Yeah, it's more sort of lack of politics, really, that's about. But staying with All, we've done politics. Shall we nip into a strip bar?
1, 2, 3, 4.
I went to the strip bar, tried to grab her by the world, but a big guy beat me up and threw me out the back door of the strip bar.
And finally, from the same album, this is All from Breaking Things, and this is a song called Horizontal. And I guess you'll figure out what this is about.
I'm tired of being lonely all the time. Sick of moan diving, the water's warm and fine. Let's take it swag, break the bed. Ready on no market set. It's always on a party, it's a party for two tonight. I'm gonna hear the scream from Tokyo to Berlin. Oh, she's got a time schedule, but I think it's just gonna be right. Oh, day and night, from AM to PM. It's alright. Oh, she says we're alright. Top or bottom, sideways, upside down. Let's do the dance that makes the world go round. Let's take a sweat, break the bed. Ready on your mark and set. It's always on a party, it's a party for two. Well, it's always on a party, it's a party for two tonight. Woo! Yeah!
So I hope you're enjoying our little wander around the world of music. Well, I say our, it's mine really, isn't it? It's me wandering around and you listening. But I hope you're enjoying it. You know, I want to try and get as many different aspects of my musical taste across, but also, you know, just so I don't know, so I can share it with you. But by the same token, you're not always going to like the stuff you hear, are you? You're going to kind of go, yeah, that's all right, Howard, but I'll give it a miss. But that is always the price that you're going to pay, isn't it? You know, that is always going to be the case. But you know, I'm enjoying playing you some little bits and pieces. And taking you all of the different places that I want to take you musically, and now I'm going to take you to a band called Ashes Divide. Only ever made one album, which was called Keep Telling Myself It's All Right. And funnily enough, I'm looking at the songs at the moment, and every single one of them seems to be called Keeping Myself. They've all got the same title. What the hell's going on there? Right, let's find out, shall we? That's bizarre. That is oh, right, okay. No, I take it back. Right, okay. I'm gonna stop fucking about and just play this. This is Ashes Divide from the album Keep Telling Myself It's All Right. And this one is called Stripped Away. That is heavy in its own right. There's some immense heaviness there. Awesome band, fronted by Billy Howdrell, who is part of A Perfect Circle. It worked closely with Tool. If you're wondering what the Tool vibe there was, that's why, because he's a member of Perfect Circle. And now I'm going to go over to a completely different sphere of musicality. I'm going over to pay a visit to Max Cavalera, people. Yeah. Well, there's only one Soulfly album that really does it for me, and it's Conqueror. And there's a song on that, and it is the opening track. It's a great album, by the way. I really like it. I mean, I heard that album, loved it. There's no other Soulfly album that touches it for me. But I think, proof that that Max is one of those guys that, I mean, I love Sepultura, don't get me wrong, but Max is one of those guys that even if you don't like him or his stuff, there will be at least one album that you do like. And I think this is a phenomenal production, phenomenal drumming, just absolutely in your face, loving this. And this is going to come stomping through your speakers, getting louder and louder and bigger and bigger. Turn it up. If you're in a car, windows down. It's fucking freezing, I know. But wherever you are, windows down. Crank it. This is from Soulfly Conqueror. And this is Blood, Fire, War, Hate. what a ferocious opening track. I mean, just absolutely superb. When I was listening to that, I was thinking, I really hope people don't skip past the beginning and and all that build and everything else, because then when it does kick in and it is just ferocious fast as fuck. It is just such a fucking treat. It really is. From the album Conqueror by Soulfly, just an absolute stonker of a tune. Absolutely love that. And whilst we're rocking some heavy shit, dudes, if anyone out there thought that there was nothing good came out of new metal. Sorry, I'm babbling like a twat here. If anyone they're thinking, nothing came out of new metal or anything, I mean, well, for a start, Slipknot, so you're wrong, because they're one of the greatest metal bands ever. But the other band who were around who never quite achieved the success, certainly not over here, is Mudvayne. Simple as that. A great band. I discovered Mudvayne on their first album, LD50, and I am still bumping into people from all fucking walks of metal who go, "Oh, Mudvayne, LD50. That is a serious album." And they had all the makeup and everything, so they looked a little bit ridiculous at the time, and maybe a few of you gave them a pass because of that. But you missed out on stuff like this, Death Blooms.
Seems crippling. Let me under through corridors. Aromas thick with age. Mark off the day. Reflections of my life are fading. Pull me out the body. You want it, people frail and rotting. You're singing, I'm lost in structure that's collapsing. You want it, casting to make I take the body. You want it, it wants me. Past has found its place. Salvation is no more. Well, God, accept my peace. Reach to a part in me. Reflections of my life are fading. Pull me out the body. You want it, people frail and rotting. You're sitting, I'm lost in structure that's collapsing. You want it, casting to make I take the body. You want it, it wants me. I just want to run like eyes wrestle to the grave. Something where's the crowd? To show memories in me, in this in a gloom as wide as an eye of fermenting, roiling hate, death gripping my veins, unveiling rancid petals, flowering forth foul nectar, space between a blink and a tear, death bloom.
Yep, could have probably picked a better song because of the ending there, because it goes straight over into Cradle. But yeah, I mean, if you've never heard any Mudvayne before, then you realise what you've been missing out on, and you need to get your ass into gear and get yourself a copy of LD50. I saw them on tour once in the Forum for the second album, The End of All Things, and which again is good, less less changey. Less erratic, more boring. More mature, and it's a good album actually. But after that, I was pretty much done, because it's just one of them things. They just seem to kind of lose it, and it was a real shame, to be honest, because they were at their peak an awesome band. Okay, and now something a little different, but not so wacky. No, not totally off. Not totally off the reservation. Actually, now fuck it. Let's go off the reservation. Let's go completely off the reservation. I'm now going to introduce you to a band called Ethel Meat Plow. Or Ethel, I don't know, ETHYL, Ethel Meat Plow, MEATPLOW. The album is Happy Days, Sweetheart. There is only one album. There was a music video for a song off this called Devil's Johnson that's kicking around, and yes, it is about the Devil's Johnson. You will never in your life meet anybody who has heard of Ethel Meat Plow. Unless you bump into somebody who's listened to this radio show. They are a completely bizarre mix. The advent of the internet has not helped gleaning any further information on them. And basically it's just the album I found really cheap in a second-hand CD shop in Notting Hill when I used to be kicking around there. There's still some of the shops up there that do like all sorts of strange old musical curiosities, and they used to get all the promos and stuff. And I got this. I bought it purely based on the cover. In fact, you know what? I don't know why I bought it, but all I knew was that it was fucking amazing. Now it's very eclectic. When you hear the first sort of 30 seconds, don't be confused. I mean, don't be put off, because it will change. I'm not saying you'll like it, but it will change into something else. So look, instead of me just going on about it, why don't I play some? This is from Ethel Meat Plow, from the album. Let me just get this right again. From the album Happy Days, Sweetheart, and this is simply called Suck.
Something I am seeing. See something I am. Since something I am. Since something I am. Since song. Think I am sincere. explain this thing happening to me.
Yep, making the B-52s sound positively normal. That is Ethel Meatplow. A real cornucopia of sounds there. Some of the most awesome, aggressive, dark female vocals you'll ever hear. And I've got to do this. I was only going to play one song, but I've got to do this. You will never, ever, ever, ever be able to listen to Close to You by the Carpenters ever again. Not after you've heard this version.
Yeah.
Never since Dave Mustaine murdered These Boots by Nancy Sinatra has anyone taken a song and really made it theirs. I mean, These Boots is all right. I prefer Ain't Superstitious. But that is just awesome. You can play that to anyone, your pop-loving friends, your parents, your next door neighbour. You can play that to anyone and they'll just be like, what the fuck? I just love the way it starts out fairly like, you know, do 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 with the drums, and then the drums kick in and it's like and what a vocal duo. I mean, they work off each other. They definitely do very good things for each other. And I love it. I absolutely love it. So yeah, well, as you can tell, I'm a bit of a fan. So anyway, here we go. Off on another tangent with somebody else. This is going to be, I think it's pretty much going to be last song of the show, coming up towards the end now. Look, if you guys don't spread the word, this is going to end. There is not a great deal of views on YouTube, which is where this exists. It's not, this only exists on YouTube and Patreon. If you'd like to get this early on Patreon, and you can get it as an MP3 as well, then go to patreon.com/Howard H. Smith. $5 a month gets you a load of exclusive content for this, the podcast, the Making the New Acid Rain album. It's all in there. It's all in there for you twice. Please do sign up. Please do spread the word, because it does take time to put this together, and I'm not going to keep doing it unless I can get some a decent amount of people listening. So I am going to do this. I'll probably do this for at least another 6 months, but it will cease to be unless I can get a real head of steam going. So if you feel like supporting it, please do. If you can support it in any way, and by that I just mean fucking tell people about it, just tell people about it, or sign up at Patreon, whatever you can do. I would be extremely grateful. So now on to last song of the show, nay, last band of the show, because yes, that's right, we haven't heard from this lot before. This is my favourite Devil Driver album. I like Dez. Some of his vocals are cool, some not so cool, but I like him in general. I love his attitude, and I also love his lyrics. He knows how to write a set of lyrics. And this is another set of them. This is from the album Pray for Villains by Devil Driver. See you all next time. And this one's called I've Been Sober.